6 years ago, I was diagnosed with restless legs syndrome. I remember sitting in my neurologist's office and we just finished a barrage of tests, MRIs, blood tests, and a bunch of others. And he sat me down and he said, "Look, I'm sorry, but you are one of the people we don't know why this is happening." And he started to outline a number of drugs that I could take to ameliorate the pain. Now, over the last 6 years, I have spent thousands of dollars on unconventional treatments for RLS amongst all of the regular ones. I've tried acupuncture, dry needling, pulsed electromagnetic field therapy, even hyperbaric oxygen chambers. I was desperate. I've tried everything. The conventional treatments weren't working well enough, and I kept reading about people online who swore by these alternative approaches. So I paid the money, I invested the time, and I gave each one a genuine shot. In the end, none of them worked, not for me anyway. But here's what's interesting. The research shows that some of these treatments do work for other people. So in this video, I'm going to walk you through what I tried, what the research actually says, and why individual variation matters so much with RLS. I'm Mark Chapman, and this is the unconventional treatment breakdown you won't find anywhere else. First up, acupuncture. I did a number of sessions each week over 3 months. Now, the theory made sense to me. Traditional Chinese medicine targets specific points to improve energy flow and circulation. Some practitioners believe RLS is related to liver and spleen dysfunction. Did it help? No. I felt relaxed during the sessions. That part was pleasant, but my RLS symptoms didn't change at all. No reduction in frequency, no reduction in severity. After 3 months, I stopped. That was disappointing, but here's where it gets interesting. A 2021 meta-analysis looked at 18 different studies involving 640 RLS patients treated with acupuncture. The results showed a mean improvement of 9.45 points on the International Restless Legs Syndrome Rating Scale. Now that's a significant reduction. The study concluded that acupuncture is an effective treatment option for RLS, especially combined with other therapies like gabapentin. One study showed that people who received acupuncture plus gabapentin had better outcomes than people who received gabapentin alone. So why didn't it work for me, but it worked in these studies? Now that is the million-dollar question. Individual variation. What helps one person's nervous system might do nothing for another's. The second treatment I tried, dry needling. Now this is different from acupuncture. Instead of targeting energy meridians, dry needling focuses on trigger points in the muscles, tight bands that can cause pain and dysfunction. I did one session a week over 2.5 months, targeting my calves, hamstrings, and hip flexors. My experience, the needling itself was more uncomfortable than acupuncture. Honestly, some of the needles were this long. I had some muscle soreness afterwards, which is normal, but again, no impact on my RLS symptoms. I kept hoping I'd wake up one day and notice a difference, but that never came. Now, here's the challenge. There's virtually no published research on dry needling specifically for RLS. Most dry needling studies focus on musculoskeletal pain, back pain, neck pain, that sort of thing. The theory for RLS would be that releasing muscle tension might reduce the uncomfortable sensations, but without actual studies, we are just guessing. Now, this is a key point. Just because I tried it and it didn't work doesn't mean it's worthless. It just means there's no evidence base yet. Someone might stumble onto a combination of trigger points that helps their RLS, and we wouldn't know because it's not been studied systematically. The third treatment, pulsed electromagnetic field therapy. I was starting to get out there. It's also termed PEMF, P-E-M-F. I did this at a wellness center that had PEMF mats. So you lie on a mat, on a bed that generates electromagnetic pulses designed to stimulate cellular repair. I did 2 sessions a week over about 3 months. And honestly, it was relaxing. I'd lie there for 30 minutes. Sometimes I'd fall asleep. But did it help my RLS? No. There was no measurable difference. The practitioners were convinced it would work if I just kept going longer, but after 3 months and a lot of money with no improvement, I moved on. Now, the research on PEMF for RLS is almost non-existent. I found one case report from a neurologist who used PEMF on RLS patients and reported good results, but that's anecdotal, one doctor's experience with a handful of patients. PEMF has been studied for other conditions: bone healing, nerve regeneration, chronic pain. The FDA has even approved PEMF devices for certain uses, but specifically for RLS, the evidence just isn't there yet. There is a theoretical basis. PEMF might improve circulation, reduce inflammation, calm the nervous system, but theory and proven effectiveness are two different things. The fourth and most expensive was the hyperbaric chamber oxygen therapy. You may be familiar with this as a treatment for deep sea divers with the bends. Now, the theory is that it increases oxygen delivery to the tissues, promotes healing, and reduces inflammation. I did a number of sessions over 2 months, very expensive, and the sessions were a little strange. You're in this chamber that looks like a small submarine. Pressure builds up, your ears pop, you lie there for an hour just breathing. Did it help my RLS? No, not at all. There was no change in symptoms. And what would be funny if it wasn't so serious is that because I was relaxing and lying in a chamber still, the RLS would come on whilst I was having the treatment. So all up, this was really the most expensive disappointment of the whole bunch. Now, here's what makes it interesting. There are no studies on hyperbaric oxygen for RLS, none that I could find. But, and this is important, research has shown that RLS patients have lower oxygen levels in their legs compared to people without RLS. One Finnish study found that RLS patients had significantly reduced peripheral oxygen compared to healthy controls. The more severe the RLS, the lower the oxygen levels. So, theoretically, hyperbaric chamber oxygen therapy makes sense. If RLS involves peripheral hypoxia, delivering more oxygen might help. But nobody's actually tested this in a clinical trial. This is the difference between a good theory and proven treatment. So here's what I learned. I spent thousands of dollars, invested months of time, and none of these treatments helped me personally. Does that mean they're worthless? No. It means that RLS is highly individual. What works brilliantly for one person might do nothing for another. Your nervous system is not my nervous system. And this is actually supported by research. Even with proven treatments like dopamine agonists, about 30% of people don't respond well. With iron supplementation, it helps some people drastically and others not at all. The same medications work differently for different people. The same lifestyle changes have different impact. And the same alternative treatments will help some people and do nothing for others. Now, you may want to try some of these therapies. Looking back, would I have tried these treatments if I knew then what I know now? Well, the answer is yes, I would try them, because until you try, you don't know whether it will have an effect. One thing I would change is that instead of jumping from one treatment to another, hoping something would stick, I would systematically track what made my symptoms better or worse. Because while I was spending thousands on treatments that didn't help, I wasn't paying attention to the patterns in my own daily life that were actually affecting my symptoms. The triggers that were right in front of me: sitting for hours, skipping exercise, my evening routine. All of these things I now know affect my RLS. Systematic tracking of these eventually led to more improvement than any of those expensive treatments. So, should you try acupuncture or PEMF or hyperbaric oxygen? Really, I can't answer that for you. What I can tell you is, if you're considering an unconventional treatment, ask about the research. Look for actual studies, not just testimonials. Understand that testimonials represent individual experiences, not guaranteed outcomes. And if you decide to try something, set a specific trial period, say 3 months. Track your symptoms systematically. If there's no improvement after a reasonable time, move on. Don't keep spending money based on hope alone. Now, an important disclaimer: I'm not a doctor. This is my personal experience trying unconventional treatments and what published research shows about them. Every person's RLS is different, so always consult your healthcare provider before trying new treatments. Now, if this video helped, if it helped you think more clearly about unconventional RLS treatments, please hit that like button and subscribe. I share what actually works and what doesn't based on research and my own 6 years of personal experience with restless legs syndrome. Please help me to help others. I'm Mark Chapman, and I'll see you on the next video.